The Mercedes S-Class hydroplaned across 3 lanes of wet asphalt. Rain hammered the windshield like bullets. The brake pedal hit the floor with nothing. No resistance, no friction, nothing. Victoria Sinclair gripped the steering wheel, her knuckles turned white. The dashboard clock read 11:53 p.m. Highway 2 stretched ahead, dark, empty. The guardrail rushed closer. 40 feet below, the river churned black and furious. She pumped the brakes again. The pedal went down like pressing air. Her phone lay shattered on the passenger floor. Blood ran warm from her temple into her left eye. She blinked it away. The car spun. Metal screamed against asphalt. Sparks exploded from the undercarriage. The world tilted sideways. Glass shattered. Cold rain hit her face. The Mercedes stopped, 6 feet from the edge. The engine ticked. Steam hissed from under the hood. Victoria's breath came in sharp gasps. She tried the door. Jammed. The seatbelt release. Broken. Her fingers trembled. The car shifted forward. 3 inches, then 6. The metal groaned. The front tires hung over empty space. Headlights appeared behind her, high beams cutting through rain. A vehicle pulled over, an old Honda Civic. The door opened. A man ran toward her, tall, broad shoulders, moving with purpose. His face was shadowed, but his movements were precise, trained. He reached her window in seconds. Victoria saw him clearly now. Black, mid-30s, wearing a navy blue work uniform. The smell of cleaning solution and rain. He tested the driver's door, locked. The passenger side, same. His eyes scanned the car, the angle, the tires, the drop below. He pulled something from his jacket, a small red hammer. He struck the back window once, clean, efficient, glass scattered like diamonds. "Ma'am, I need you to stay completely still." His voice was calm, deep, the kind of voice you trust in a crisis. "Your seatbelt is tangled in the seat mechanism. I'm going to cut you free." Victoria tried to speak. Her mouth wouldn't work. Shock locked her jaw. She managed a small nod. He reached through the broken window. A blade appeared in his hand. Not a kitchen knife, something tactical, military grade. He cut through the seatbelt with 3 precise strokes. "On 3, you're going to lean toward me. I'll pull you through. Don't fight it. Ready?" She nodded again. 1. The car shifted. Another inch forward. 2. Metal screamed. The front bumper dipped. 3. His hands gripped her shoulders. Strong, sure. He pulled her through the window frame. Glass cut her jacket. She didn't feel it. He carried her away from the car like she weighed nothing. 20 feet, 30, 40. The Mercedes groaned once more. The front tires slipped. The car tilted. For 3 seconds, it balanced on the edge. Then gravity won. The sedan plunged into darkness. It hit the water with a sound like thunder. White foam exploded upward. Then silence. Just rain on asphalt. Victoria's legs gave out. The man lowered her to the ground. Gently, his jacket appeared around her shoulders. Warm, smelling of laundry detergent and something else. Something clean. He was already on his phone. 911, single vehicle accident, Highway 2 westbound, mile marker 34, 1 female victim, head trauma, conscious, breathing stable. A pause. The brakes were cut, clean slice through the hydraulic line. "You need police and paramedics." Victoria's vision blurred. She tried to focus on his face. Strong jaw, kind eyes, a small scar above his left eyebrow. She wanted to thank him, to ask his name, to understand how he knew about the brakes, but the world faded to gray, then black. When she opened her eyes again, red and blue lights painted the night. Paramedics worked over her. A blanket, an oxygen mask, voices discussing concussion protocols. She turned her head, looking for him. He was gone. Only his jacket remained. She pulled it close. A name tag caught the ambulance light. White letters on blue fabric. M. Chen, Custodial Services, Whitfield University. Title card, 3 weeks earlier. The alarm on Marcus Chen's phone buzzed at 5:30 a.m. He silenced it before the second beep. His daughter needed sleep. The apartment was small, 2 bedrooms in Medford, the kind of place where you heard your neighbors through the walls, but it was clean, safe, his. Marcus sat up, The photo on his nightstand caught the first gray light of morning. Jennifer smiled at him from 7 years ago. Baby Maya in her arms, Marcus in his Navy dress uniform. They looked happy. They had been. He stood, stretched. Old injuries protested. The shoulder from Kandahar, the knee from jump training. Nothing that stopped him, just reminders. The kitchen smelled like possibility. Marcus moved through it with the precision of a man who had cooked 1,000 meals in tight quarters. Eggs, turkey bacon, whole wheat toast. He cut the toast into triangles. Maya liked triangles. Her lunch took shape next. Rice balls shaped like smiles, carrot sticks, apple slices, a juice box. A note in his handwriting. Love you, princess. Conquer second grade today. At 6:15, he opened Maya's door. She lay curled under her purple comforter. 7 years old. Beautiful. Perfect. His entire world. Good morning, sunshine. Maya stirred. Her eyes opened, brown like her mother's. 5 more minutes, Baba. Same deal as always. I made your favorite. Smiley eggs? She was up in seconds. Breakfast conversation covered multiplication tables and playground politics. Maya talked about her friend Destiny, about the new art teacher, about everything and nothing. Marcus listened to every word. At 7 a.m., they sat together in the bathroom. Marcus behind her, Maya on the step stool, his tablet propped on the sink showing a YouTube tutorial. Okay, so 3-strand into fishtail. His fingers worked through her hair. Thick, curly, beautiful, difficult. He was getting better. Practice made progress. You're doing great, Baba. Way better than last year. Well, last year his attempts had looked like angry birds' nests. This year they looked almost professional. I wish Mama could see how good you're getting. Marcus's hands paused, just for a moment. She can, baby. She's always watching, always proud of you. Maya met his eyes in the mirror, old soul in a young face. And proud of you too, Baba. 7:30 found them in the Honda, 180,000 miles, still running, still reliable, like everything Marcus maintained. The radio played NPR, a story about education funding. Sterling Education Group announced quarterly earnings. Victoria Sinclair, new CEO after her father's death, promised continued excellence. That's your work, right, Baba? Were you clean? That's right, princess. You're important there too, not just the fancy people. Marcus's throat tightened. Thank you, baby. Whitfield Elementary sat on a tree-lined street. Good school, safe neighborhood, worth the commute. Marcus walked Maya to her classroom. Other parents waved. He was known here. Involved dad, room parent, volunteer. Miss Rodriguez caught him at the door. Mr. Chen, Maya's math scores are exceptional. Have you considered gifted programs? She gets it from her mother. The deflection was automatic, easier than explaining. I think she has 2 brilliant parents. Marcus managed a smile, said goodbye to Maya, watched her join her friends, waited until she was settled before leaving. In the car, alone, he allowed himself one moment. He pulled out the letter from his glove box. MIT letterhead. PhD program in mathematics. Status, withdrawn. The date read 2019, 6 years ago, a lifetime ago. He put it back, started the engine, drove home. The apartment was quiet. Marcus moved to his desk in the bedroom corner. Advanced mathematics textbooks lined the small shelf. Rudin, Evans, Folland, friends who never judged, never left. His laptop waited. He had work to do before sleep. Marcus opened Whitfield University's public financial database. A habit formed 3 months ago, something to occupy his mind, something to scratch the investigative itch from his Navy days. The spreadsheet loaded, column after column of numbers. Most people saw chaos. Marcus saw patterns. Sterling Education Group. Annual Educational Innovation Grants. 18.7 million this quarter. 73 million over 4 years. Large amounts. Nothing unusual for a university consortium. Except, Marcus clicked deeper. Grant recipient names. The field was empty. Program descriptions. Vague corporate speak. Innovation, excellence, strategic initiatives. Words that meant nothing. He cross-referenced it with IRS filings. Public documents anyone could access. The money flowed to Sterling Innovation Fund LC, a Delaware company. He traced the registration. The beneficial owner line was blank. Marcus knew what blank meant. Someone hiding. Someone with something to protect. He pulled up news archives, searched for Richard Sinclair, Victoria's father, the man who built Sterling Education. An article from 9 months ago, small, buried in business news. Sterling Education CEO orders internal audit of innovation programs. Dated March 15th, 2 weeks later. Audit canceled due to procedural concerns. CFO Bradford Hartwell cites resource allocation issues. 1 week after that, Richard Sinclair, 67, dies of stroke. Sterling Education mourns visionary leader. Marcus leaned back. The pattern was clear, obvious, damning. Richard found something and started an audit. Bradford canceled it. Richard died. Coincidence had a mathematical probability. This wasn't coincidence. Marcus created a new encrypted folder, downloaded every relevant file, stored it on a USB drive. He looked around his apartment. Where to hide evidence of corporate murder? His eyes landed on Maya's toy chest, the pink box overflowing with dolls and books. No one would look there. He buried the USB under stuffed animals. His phone buzzed. 11:47 p.m. Unknown number. Hello? Silence. Not dead air. The silence of someone listening, breathing, deciding. Click. Marcus moved to the window, pulled the curtain back slightly. A dark sedan sat across the street, engine running, lights off. It hadn't been there an hour ago. His military training activated. Threat assessment, surveillance, vulnerability analysis. He checked every window lock, every door, put a rubber wedge under Maya's door. Anyone trying to open it would make noise. Enough noise to wake him. Marcus set his phone on the nightstand. Emergency services 1 touch away. His old Ka-Bar knife in the drawer. He hadn't needed it in 6 years. Might need it tonight. He lay in bed, eyes open, listening. The sedan stayed until 3 a.m. Then it left. Silent, professional. Marcus didn't sleep. Victoria Sinclair arrived at her office at 5:30 a.m. She was always first, always working, always proving something. The 32nd floor corner office offered views of Boston's skyline, floor-to-ceiling windows, modern minimalist furniture, a glass desk that cost more than most people's cars, 2 sides to her workspace, left side academic, bookshelves heavy with topology texts, a blackboard covered in proofs, her MIT diploma, published papers, the professor, right side corporate, 3 monitors showing stock prices, quarterly reports, board meeting schedules, the CEO. Her father smiled at her from a silver frame, the only personal item. Richard Sinclair, 67 in the photo, strong, confident, alive, dead 6 months now. Victoria pulled up the day's schedule. Department meeting at 8, board call at 9, Uller Challenge registration event at 2, evening lectures at 6, dinner meeting at 8, home by 11 if she was lucky. She didn't mind. Work filled the emptiness, kept the grief at bay. Her assistant knocked at 7. Mr. Sinclair, the department meeting agenda arrived. Thank you, Rachel. And Mr. Hartwell called, twice. Says it's urgent. Victoria's jaw tightened. Bradford Hartwell, CFO, her father's best friend for 20 years, her godfather, the man who signed her birthday cards and taught her chess, also the man who seemed to question her every decision since she took over. Tell Brad I'll call him after the department meeting. Rachel hesitated. He said it couldn't wait. Victoria closed her laptop. Fine. Conference room B, 5 minutes. Bradford Hartwell waited with a tablet in his signature smile. Silver hair perfectly styled. Suit that cost 5 figures. The picture of success. Katie, thank you for making time. She hated when he called her Katie. Her father had called her Katie. What's urgent, Brad? Q3 projections. We're down 3% revenue across the consortium. Enrollment is stable. It's seasonal variance. Your father would have been more aggressive about cost cutting. The words landed like they were meant to, a blade wrapped in concern. I'm not my father. Clearly. Silence stretched. Bradford's smile never wavered. Richard built this from nothing. 12 universities, $4 billion in assets. We have a responsibility to preserve his legacy. Victoria wanted to argue, wanted to defend herself. Instead, she asked the question that had been nagging her for weeks. These educational innovation grants, 18.7 million this quarter, what programs are they funding? Bradford's expression didn't change, but something flickered behind his eyes. Brief. Gone. Strategic initiatives. Long-term planning. Your father approved the framework before he passed. I want to see recipient names, program descriptions, outcomes. Of course, my office will compile that. By Friday. Absolutely. But Victoria knew he wouldn't. He'd send some summary, some corporate document that said nothing, just like he had the last 3 times she asked. Bradford stood. Trust me, Katie, like Richard did. I've never let this family down. After he left, Victoria sat in the empty conference room. Her father's last words echoed. She'd been in Hong Kong at a merger meeting. He'd called. She'd sent it to voicemail. By the time she called back, he was dead. The voicemail still lived on her phone. She'd never deleted it. Never listened past the first 5 seconds. Katie, it's Dad. I need to talk to you about the numbers. Something's wrong. Call me as soon as... She'd never heard the rest. At 2 p.m., Whitfield University's main auditorium filled with 200 people. The Euler Mathematical Challenge, annual tradition, $50,000 prize, PhD admission to partner schools. Victoria stood backstage in her corporate armor, charcoal suit, heels, perfect makeup, the mask she wore to face the world. 5 minutes, Dor Sinclair. She walked to the podium, looked out at the crowd, students, faculty, press, amateur mathematicians hoping for their moment. Welcome to the 18th Annual Euler Challenge, her voice carried, confident, controlled. This competition celebrates mathematical excellence in its purest form. My father, Richard Sinclair, founded this because he believed genius could emerge from anywhere. The lie tasted bitter. She didn't believe that. Genius came from proper education, rigorous training, the right schools, the right credentials. People like her. The registration table processed contestants, graduate students from MIT, Harvard, Stanford, engineers from tech companies, high school prodigies. 32 names, 32 hopefuls. Then number 33 arrived. Marcus Chen walked through the auditorium door at 2:15. He wore khakis and a button-down shirt, his best clothes. In his hand, a printed registration confirmation. Behind him, a little girl, 7 years old, natural hair in careful braids, big brown eyes taking in everything. Victoria watched from the stage. Something about the man caught her attention. The way he moved, precise, controlled, military-bearing even in civilian clothes. The registration volunteer looked up. Name? Marcus Chen. I don't see a pre-registration. I registered last night. Confirmation number 7824. The volunteer typed, frowned. Oh, late registration. Your contestant 33. She noticed his ID badge, Whitfield University, Custodial Services. You work here? Night shift, yes. The little girl tugged his hand. Baba, can I watch you do the math? Her voice carried, sweet, clear. Several people turned. Marcus knelt to her level. Yes, princess, but you have to be very quiet, okay? I'm always quiet. Bradford Hartwell was crossing the auditorium when he heard custodial. He stopped, turned, saw Marcus's work badge. Excuse me. His voice cut through the ambient noise, loud enough to draw attention. This is a private event. Marcus stood, met Bradford's eyes. I'm registered, contestant 33. Bradford looked at the clipboard, laughed, not kindly. You're a contestant in the Euler Challenge? A crowd was forming, people sensing drama. I paid the entry fee. I'm qualified to compete. I'm sorry, but this competition requires substantial mathematical background. This isn't community college algebra. Victoria descended from the stage, drawn by the commotion. Is there a problem, Brad? Just a confused employee who thought, Marcus interrupted, polite but firm. Dr. Sinclair, I'm Marcus Chen. I work custodial here, but I registered legitimately for this competition. Victoria looked at him, really looked, saw the work badge, the child holding his hand, The clothes that were clean but inexpensive. Every prejudice she'd ever held activated. Mr. Chen, while we appreciate employee enthusiasm, this competition demands advanced training. She heard herself, heard the condescension, didn't stop. Perhaps you'd be more comfortable observing. Marcus's jaw tightened, but his voice stayed level. I paid $50. I have the right to compete. Bradford moved closer, aggressive. Dr. Sinclair, we can't have... Victoria cut him off. Executive decision. Fine, let him compete. Her smile was cruel. When he fails in the first round, it will be educational for everyone. She looked directly at Marcus. Try not to waste the judge's time. The little girl's voice rang out, clear, defiant. My Baba is the smartest person ever. He knows all the math. The crowd awed, some genuinely touched, others patronizing. Victoria felt something crack in her chest, brief, painful. She pushed it down. I'm sure he is, sweetheart, but this is graduate-level mathematics. Marcus placed a hand on his daughter's shoulder. It's okay, Maya. Some people need to see to believe. He met Victoria's eyes. I'll do my best not to embarrass sterling education. Dr. Sinclair. Something in his tone. Not arrogant, not meek, absolutely confident. Victoria felt it. Dismissed it as bravado. The contestants took their positions. 33 people at individual whiteboard stations. Marcus at position 33. Back at corner, Maya sat in the front row. A young woman, Emma Davies, one of Victoria's PhD students, volunteered to watch her. Your dad's very brave, Emma whispered. He's not brave. He's just smart. People don't see it because he cleans. Emma blinked. 7-year-old wisdom hitting harder than tenure committee feedback. Victoria stood at the judges' table. 5 professors. Dr. Patricia Morrison from MIT anchored the panel. Renowned, brilliant, intimidating. Begin. The first problem that appeared on the massive screen. Prove that the sum of the first n odd numbers equals n squared. Provide rigorous mathematical proof. Standard problem, first-year graduate school, accessible but requiring formal training. Around the room, contestants attacked it with mathematical induction. Formal notation filled whiteboards. Base cases, inductive hypotheses, symbolic logic. Victoria watched Marcus, waiting for him to flounder. He stood motionless. 3 minutes, just staring at the problem. She allowed herself a small smile. He was stuck already. Then Marcus picked up his marker. He didn't write equations. He drew pictures, dots, arranged in squares. Visual patterns emerging, 1 dot, 4 dots in a 2 by 2 square, 9 dots in a 3 by 3 square. Each new arrangement showing how odd numbers build perfect squares. 12 minutes in, Marcus set down his marker, raised his hand. Completed. Victoria's head snapped up. Impossible. Most contestants were still working through inductive steps. Present your solution, Mr. Chen. Marcus walked to the front, carried his whiteboard. No hesitation in his steps. Mathematics isn't about memorizing notation. His voice filled the auditorium, deep, clear. It's about seeing truth, he pointed to his visual proof. Each odd number is an L-shaped addition that completes the next perfect square. 1 starts it, 3 wraps around to make 2 by 2, 5 wraps around to make 3 by 3. He drew the generalization with swift, confident strokes. The proof isn't computational. It shows us why this relationship exists, the structure underneath the symbols. The audience erupted, not the mathematicians, the regular people, the ones who had struggled through algebra, who had felt stupid in math class, who had never seen it like this. Standing ovation from half the room. Dr. Patricia Morrison stood at the judges' table. Her expression showed something Victoria had rarely seen. Genuine excitement. That's pedagogically brilliant. Morrison's voice carried authority. Visual proofs are completely valid. This demonstrates the deepest possible understanding, not memorization, comprehension. The other judges nodded, scribbled scores, all high. Victoria sat frozen. This wasn't supposed to happen. Custodians didn't solve problems in 12 minutes. Didn't teach professors new ways of seeing. Bradford leaned close. Lucky guess. The real problems will expose him. But Victoria wasn't sure anymore. Maya jumped in her seat, clapping. Pure joy. That's my Baba! Emma Davies, Victoria's own student, wiped her eyes, moved by something she couldn't name. The education blogger in the third row typed furiously. This was a story. Custodian teaches Harvard how to really do math. Within an hour, the clip would have 50,000 views. Victoria's phone buzzed, a text from the university president. Great PR, keep this going. She looked at Marcus. He was kneeling next to Maya, letting her hug him, whispering something that made her giggle. For the first time in 6 months, Victoria Sinclair felt something other than grief and ambition. She felt curiosity. Who was Marcus Chen? Round 1 results posted 20 minutes later. 15 contestants advanced. Marcus Chen, perfect score from all 5 judges. Eliminated included 2 PhD students and an MIT graduate. The academic order had cracked. Victoria stood, announcing the break before round 2, watched Marcus with his daughter, watched other contestants approach him, some congratulatory, some confused, all compelled. She made a decision. Victoria crossed the auditorium floor. People parted. She rarely left the stage, rarely mingled. Mr. Chen, Marcus turned, still guarded. Dr. Sinclair, that was impressive. Thank you. Silence. Victoria struggled with words that weren't commands or criticisms. Where did you learn to think like that? Marcus considered, choosing his words. I've always seen patterns. Math is just how the world works. Who taught you? Books, professors, life. Maya tugged Victoria's jacket. Brave, direct. I'm Maya, that's my Baba. He's the best. Victoria knelt, awkward. She didn't do children. I'm Victoria. I know, you're the boss, but you seem sad. The observation landed like a punch. Children saw things, true things. I lost my father recently. Maya nodded, solemn. We lost my mama. It makes your tummy hurt. Victoria's breath caught. This child understood. Yes, exactly that. She stood, met Marcus's eyes. Good luck in round 2. She walked away, feeling something shift inside her, small, uncomfortable, real. Bradford appeared at her elbow. Don't get attached. He'll flame out. Maybe, but she didn't believe it anymore. Round 2 began at 3 p.m. 15 contestants, 1 hour. Top 5 advanced to tomorrow's finals. The problem appeared. Consider the differential equation dx equals x squared plus y squared divided by 2xy. Find the general solution. Classify all singular points. Prove convergence. Graduate level. Advanced differential equations. Years of training typically required. Contestants dove in. Substitutions. Transforms. Standard techniques learned in coursework. Marcus stared at the problem for 8 minutes. Victoria watched, waiting for the moment he realized he was out of his depth. Minute 9. Marcus began writing, clean strokes, efficient. He recognized the equation type, applied classical methods, moved through the solution with the confidence of deep understanding. 22 minutes. Marcus had the answer. But he didn't stop. He added analysis, phase portraits, physical interpretations. This equation modeled radial heat diffusion. The mathematics described reality. 28 minutes. Done. Half the time of the nearest competitor. When presentations began, Marcus explained the equation like teaching a friend. No jargon, just clarity. This looks intimidating, but it's asking how quantities change when they depend on ratios. In physics, this describes heat flowing outward from a point source. Dr. Patricia Morrison stood abruptly. The room went silent. Mr. Chen, her voice shook slightly, I need to ask you something. Marcus tensed. He knew what was coming. Did you study variational methods at MIT? The auditorium held its breath. Yes. Under my supervision. Pause. Long, heavy. Yes, Dr. Morrison. Gasps, whispers, phones appearing, recording. Morrison addressed the crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, context is needed. She walked toward Marcus. Marcus Chen Riley was my PhD student from 2015 to 2019. one of the most brilliant young mathematicians I've ever advised. The room erupted. Victoria's world tilted. He published in Annals of Mathematics at 26. His research on variational approaches was groundbreaking. Morrison's eyes glistened. "Marcus, why did you leave?" Marcus looked at Maya, small, watching, understanding more than a 7-year-old should. "Family emergency, Dr. Morrison. My wife was dying. I couldn't leave her." Silence. Complete. Reverent. Morrison nodded. Tears fell. "I'm sorry for your loss, but mathematics hasn't lost you." Victoria couldn't breathe. This wasn't a smart janitor with lucky guesses. This was elite genius who sacrificed everything for love. Everything she believed about priorities shattered in one moment. Round 2 results. Top 5 advance. Marcus Chen, perfect score. Special judge's commendation. The media descended. Questions. Photos. Story of the year. Victoria slipped out the back, went to her office, closed the door. She pulled up MIT's website, searched Marcus Chen Riley. The results confirmed everything. Publications, awards, accolades. Then nothing after 2019. She called MIT registrar. Status, withdrawn, personal family emergency. Victoria hung up, looked at her father's photo. "You said genius emerges from anywhere, Dad. Were you trying to tell me something?" Her phone buzzed. Bradford. "Need to talk. Urgent. My office, now." Bradford's office was darker than Victoria's. Heavy furniture, old money aesthetic. He sat behind his desk like a king on a throne, looking into the custodian. "His name is Marcus, and he's not just a custodian. Was, past tense, he washed out. He left to care for his dying wife." Bradford's expression didn't change, but something hardened in his eyes. "Very noble. Doesn't change the fact that he's a security risk." "What?" Bradford turned his monitor. Security logs. "Someone tried to access our restricted financial systems last night. Off-campus IP attempted to view accounting files." He let that sink in. "Right after your janitor registered for the competition." Coincidence? Victoria felt cold. "You think, Marcus?" "I'm not saying anything, just advising caution. Your father trusted the wrong people toward the end. Made him paranoid. The weaponization of Richard's death was expert. Cruel. What do you mean?" "Richard saw conspiracies everywhere those last months. Questioned everything. Everyone. It's what killed him, the stress, the paranoia." Bradford stood, walked around his desk, put a hand on Victoria's shoulder. "I don't want you going down that path, Katie. Trust me. Like Richard should have." After she left, Bradford made a call. "We have a problem." The voice on the other end was cold, professional. "The custodian?" "He's MIT trained, published researcher, smart enough to find what Richard found." "Does he know?" "If he accessed the files, he knows. At minimum, he suspects." "What do you want?" Bradford looked at the security monitor. Marcus Chen walking to his car, daughter in his arms, vulnerable. "Watch him. If he gets too close, we handle it." "Permanently?" "Whatever's necessary." Bradford ended the call, looked out his window at the darkening campus. Richard had been a problem. Now Richard's curiosity lived in 2 people, his daughter, and a janitor who saw patterns. Problems required solutions. Bradford had always been good at finding solutions. Marcus drove home in silence. Maya chattered about the competition, about the nice lady Emma, about the mean lady who turned nice. "Miss Victoria isn't mean, Baba. She's just sad, like you were when Mama died." Marcus glanced at his daughter in the rearview mirror. When had she become so wise? "You might be right, Princess." At home, after Maya was asleep, Marcus returned to his laptop. His phone buzzed, unknown number. He answered. "Hello? Mr. Chen, this is Victoria Sinclair." His pulse quickened. "Dr. Sinclair, I owe you an apology, a real one, not the half-hearted thing I said at the competition." "Okay. I judged you based on your job. That was wrong, deeply, shamefully wrong." Marcus said nothing, let her continue. "You gave up MIT, for your wife, for your daughter." "I didn't give up anything. I chose what mattered." Silence on the line. Then her voice smaller. You don't regret it. Not for 1 second, he heard her breath catch. I lost my father 6 months ago. Threw myself into work. Both jobs. Haven't stopped since. Were you there when he died? No, I was in a meeting. Missed his call. The pain in her voice was raw, real. I'm sorry. I wonder if he'd be proud of who I've become. Marcus chose his words carefully. From what I've read, your father believed in accessibility, in finding genius everywhere. Maybe he'd want you to remember that. Another pause. Can I ask you something? Professionally? Go ahead. Before my father died, he said something, the numbers don't add up. I thought it was medication, but I keep thinking about it. Marcus's heart rate increased. Would you look at our financial statements? Unofficially? I don't know who else to trust. This was the moment. Tell her what he found, or wait. Send me the files, I'll look. Thank you for this, for today, for showing me I was wrong about you. See you at the finals tomorrow. Good luck, though I suspect you don't need it. She ended the call. Marcus sat in darkness. The USB drive with evidence of embezzlement hidden in Maya's toy box. The woman he'd just spoken to, daughter of the murdered man. The killer somewhere in that university. Watching, planning. He looked at Maya's door, thought about Jennifer, about promises made at bedsides, about protecting what mattered. Tomorrow he'd compete in the finals, win the prize money, Maya's future secured. Then he'd expose a murderer. He just had to keep them both alive long enough to do it. Outside, the dark sedan returned, parked across the street, engine running, watching. Marcus saw it, recognized the threat. He was a custodian, a mathematician, a father. But once he'd been a Navy medic, trained to survive, trained to fight. If they came for him, they'd learn. Some equations balance with violence. Marcus woke at 4 a.m. He hadn't really slept, just laid in darkness, listening for threats. The sedan had left at 2, came back at 3:30, professional rotation, two-man team minimum. He moved through his apartment, checking sight lines, windows, doors, escape routes, old habits from Kandahar, from places where complacency meant death. Maya's room was secure, second floor, fire escape accessible but visible from the street. He'd hear anyone coming. His phone showed 3 new emails. The first was from Victoria, sent at 1 a.m. Attached are 8 years of sterling education financial statements. I don't know what I'm looking for. Maybe you'll see what I can't. Thank you for giving me a chance to be wrong. VS, the files were massive, hundreds of pages. Marcus had already seen most of it, but he opened them anyway. Looked for anything new. The second email was from an encrypted address, no subject line. Stop asking questions. You have a daughter. Think about her future. Marcus deleted it. Screenshot first, evidence later. The third email was from Dr. Patricia Morrison. Marcus, I hope this message finds you well. Watching you yesterday brought back memories of our best discussions. The fire in your eyes. The elegance of your thinking. I know why you left. I know what you sacrificed. But tomorrow is your chance to show the world what I always knew. You belong among the great mathematical minds of our generation. Win or lose, I'm proud. PM, Marcus closed his laptop, looked at the photo of Jennifer. This is it, Jen, one more day. Then Maya's set, college funds secured, future bright. He made breakfast, extra special, chocolate chip pancakes, Maya's favorite. She appeared at 6, rubbing sleep from her eyes. Big day, Baba. Big day, princess. You nervous? A little. Don't be. You're the smartest person in the whole world. Marcus knelt, held her face in his hands. I love you more than all the numbers in the universe. That's infinity, Baba. Exactly. Whitfield University's main auditorium filled early, finals day. The story had spread beyond campus, beyond Boston. National news picked it up. Custodian genius, MIT dropout, single father, America loved underdogs. By 9 a.m., 800 people packed the seats. Media filled the back rows. Cameras on tripods. Reporters with microphones. The live stream counter showed 42,000 viewers. Climbing. Victoria stood backstage. She'd been there since 7, preparing, running through logistics, avoiding Bradford. He'd called twice. She'd ignored both. Her phone buzzed again. A text from an unknown number. The custodian is dangerous. Ask him about the attempted hack into our financial systems. He's not who you think. BH. Victoria stared at the message. Bradford was poisoning the well, planting doubt, classic manipulation. She deleted it. Emma Davies appeared at her elbow. Oster Sinclair, the finalists are here. 5 contestants. Marcus Chen, 3 graduate students, 1 retired aerospace engineer. Victoria watched Marcus enter. Maya held his hand. She wore a purple dress, her hair in perfect braids. Marcus had done those braids, with YouTube tutorials and father's love. The other finalists had entourages, advisors, family, supporters. Marcus had a 7-year-old. Bradford emerged from the opposite entrance. His timing wasn't accidental. He positioned himself near Marcus, close enough to intimidate. Big day, Mr. Chen. Marcus didn't look at him. Yes, sir. Shame about your late wife. Cancer, wasn't it? Marcus's jaw tightened, his hand on Maya's shoulder tensed. Yes. Expensive disease. Those medical bills must have been crushing. Now Marcus looked at him, direct, unflinching. We managed. $50,000 would help. The prize money, if you won. Bradford smiled, friendly, threatening. Although I imagine you'd do anything for that money, anything at all. Maya tugged Marcus's hand. She felt the tension. Children always did. Baba, I need the bathroom. Okay, princess. Emba appeared. I'll take her, Mr. Chen. Marcus hesitated. Every instinct screamed danger. But he couldn't take Maya into the men's room. Couldn't keep her attached to him all day. Stay with Miss Emma. Don't go anywhere else. I won't, Baba. Promise. He watched them walk away, Emma's hand holding Maya's, disappearing into the corridor. Bradford leaned closer. Cute kid. Be a shame if something happened. This world is dangerous, especially for single fathers who can't afford proper childcare. Marcus turned, faced him fully. The Navy medic surfaced. The man who'd seen combat, who'd killed when necessary. If you threaten my daughter again, we'll have a different conversation. Bradford's smile widened. No threat, just observation. Good luck today. He walked away. Marcus's heart hammered. Warning bells screamed. He pulled out his phone, called Emma. No answer, he texted. Where are you? The response came immediately. Women's bathroom near auditorium. Maya washing hands. All good. Marcus breathed. Paranoia. Just paranoia. Victoria appeared on stage. The competition would begin soon. The finals problem appeared at 10 a.m. sharp, on the massive screen, in stark black letters. Victoria read it aloud. Consider the nonlinear elliptic boundary value problem. Negative delta U plus U cubed equals F in omega. U equals 0 on the boundary of omega, where omega is a bounded domain in n-dimensional real space with smooth boundary. Prove the existence of a weak solution using variational methods. Establish regularity properties and uniqueness conditions. Silence. This wasn't just graduate level, this was dissertation level. Research mathematics. The kind of problem that took months to solve. Years even. The aerospace engineer set down his marker after reading it twice. Shook his head. Walked off stage. 4 contestants remained. Victoria continued. You have 90 minutes. Explain your reasoning. The winner will be determined by correctness, elegance, and insight. She didn't look at Marcus. Couldn't, because this problem was hers. From her doctoral dissertation, 3 years of work, solved using cutting-edge functional analysis, methods that required specialized training, methods Marcus wouldn't have. She'd chosen it last night, after talking to him, after feeling connection, after weakness. Bradford had been right. Sentiment was dangerous. This would prove Marcus's limits, show that genius required proper education, restore order. She told herself this, believed none of it. The timer started. 90 minutes. Marcus stared at the problem, read it 3 times, felt the weight of impossibility. The other contestants began immediately. Standard approaches, Sobolev spaces, weak formulations, dense notation filling whiteboards. Marcus's board stayed empty. 5 minutes passed, 10, 15. The live stream chat filled with speculation. He's stuck. Finally hit his limit. This is PhD level. He can't improvise this. 20 minutes. Marcus hadn't written anything. Victoria watched from the judge's table, feeling sick. She'd wanted to test him. Instead, she'd set him up to fail, publicly, brutally. Bradford sat in the front row, satisfied smile, natural order restoring. 25 minutes. Marcus picked up his marker, wrote one line, energy minimization principle, then stopped. 30 minutes gone. The other contestants had pages of work. Marcus had 4 words. In the basement-level bathroom, Maya finished washing her hands. Emma stood by the door, checking her phone. Victoria had texted asking for updates. All set, sweetheart? Yes, Miss Emma. They walked into the corridor, empty. Most people were in the auditorium. A man in maintenance uniform approached, pushing a cleaning cart. Excuse me, ma'am. This hallway's being waxed. You'll need to use the north exit. Emma frowned. We just need to get back to the auditorium. North exit connects, just down this way. Something felt wrong, but Emma couldn't articulate why. The man looked official, university ID badge, cleaning cart, radio on his belt. Okay, thank you. They followed him, down one corridor, then another, away from crowds, away from cameras. The maintenance man stopped at a service door. Through here, shortcut. He opened it. Darkness beyond, stairs going down. Maya pulled on Emma's hand. Miss Emma, I don't like this. The maintenance man moved fast, grabbed Emma from behind, hand over her mouth. She tried to scream. Couldn't. A second man appeared from the stairwell, grabbed Maya. She kicked, fought. 7 years old but fierce. Baba! The scream echoed, then cut off. Cloth over her mouth, chemical smell, sweet, wrong. Maya's world went dark. Emma struggled, got an elbow into her attacker's ribs. He grunted, held tighter. She sees our faces, can't leave her. The second man pulled out a syringe. Boss said no witnesses. The needle went into Emma's neck. Fast, professional. She slumped. Both men worked quickly. Maya into a maintenance bag. Zipped. Loaded onto the cleaning cart under supplies. Emma dragged into the stairwell. Door locked behind. 90 seconds. Professional extraction. The first man keyed his radio. Package secured. Heading to secondary location. Bradford's voice came back. Understood. Keep her sedated. Wait for my signal. The cleaning cart rolled toward the service entrance, where a panel van waited, engine running. Marcus was 45 minutes into the problem when his phone vibrated. He'd left it on silent, clipped to his belt. He ignored it. 50 minutes. The vibration again. Then again. Rapid succession. Something was wrong. He pulled the phone out. 6 missed calls from Emma. 3 texts. The first text was from 40 minutes ago. Taking Maya to bathroom. The second was from 38 minutes ago. Back soon. The third was from 2 minutes ago. Not from Emma's number. From unknown. We have your daughter. You have a choice. Withdraw from competition. Leave university. Forget what you know about the money. Or she gets hurt. You have 5 minutes to decide. Walk off stage. Get in the white van in loading dock C. Come alone. Bring phone or Maya dies. Marcus's vision narrowed. Tunnel focus. Combat mode. He looked at the timer. 41 minutes remaining. He looked at Victoria. She was watching the other contestants. Oblivious. He looked at his whiteboard. 4 words. 45 minutes wasted. He looked at his phone. His daughter. Terrified. Drugged. Held by men willing to kill. The equation changed. This wasn't about proving himself anymore. Wasn't about money or vindication. This was survival. Marcus raised his hand. Victoria's head snapped toward him. Yes, Mr. Chen? I need to use the bathroom. Emergency. We don't typically allow breaks during finals. It's urgent. Their eyes met. She saw something in his face. Fear. Desperation. 10 minutes. The clock continues. Marcus walked off stage. Not toward the bathroom. Toward the exit. Bradford watched him go. Smiled. Victoria felt unease. Something was wrong, very wrong. Loading dock C sat on the north side of campus, service entrance, rarely used, no cameras. Marcus approached with his phone out, tracking app active. He'd installed it on Maya's smartwatch last month. Birthday present, safety measure. The signal showed her location. Moving, panel van, already 2 miles from campus, heading toward the industrial district. The white van at the loading dock was empty. Bait. They wanted him contained, controlled, away from crowds. Marcus didn't get in. He ran. His Honda was in the staff lot, 30 seconds away. He covered the distance in 20, got in, started the engine. The tracking app showed Maya's location, warehouse district, 4 miles east. Marcus drove. Fast, but not reckless. Couldn't risk police attention. His mind split. Part of him calculated pursuit vectors, optimal routes, threat assessment. Part of him was drowning. Maya, his baby, in danger because of his choices, his investigation, his pride. Jennifer's voice. Memory or ghost. Protect her, no matter what. I will. I swear I will. He reached into the glove box, pulled out the K-bar knife, 7 inches, carbon steel. It had saved his life in Helmand Province. Might need to again. His phone buzzed. Bradford's number this time. Marcus answered, speaker mode, eyes on road. Mr. Chen, I expected you in the van. Where's my daughter? Safe for now, but your window is closing. You were supposed to withdraw. Instead you ran. Bad choice, beast. I want proof of life. Rustling, then Maya's voice, groggy, scared. Baba? I'm here, princess. I'm coming. Be brave. I'm scared. I know, baby. I know. Bradford's voice returned, touching. Now listen carefully. You found things you shouldn't have found. Ask questions you shouldn't have asked. That ends today. Richard Sinclair, you killed him. Silence. Then laughter. Richard was a problem. Like you. Problems get solved. The embezzlement. 73 million. I have proof. Proof you'll never share because here's what happens. You forget everything, disappear, take your daughter and leave Boston. Or she has an accident. Children are fragile. Accidents happen. Marcus's hands tightened on the wheel. I'm a father. You think I'll just run? I think you'll do what fathers do. Protect their children. Even if it means letting murderers walk free. The tracking signal stopped moving. Warehouse on Marginal Street. Abandoned manufacturing district. I'm coming for her, and when I get her back, I'm coming for you. You're a janitor. I'm a billionaire with resources you can't imagine. This ends one way. Your way, she lives and you run. My way, you both disappear. Marcus ended the call. He had 15 minutes before they expected him at the loading dock. They'd realize soon he wasn't coming. Would relocate. Kill Maya. Dump the body. He had to move now. The warehouse appeared. 3 stories. Brick. Windows broken. Multiple entry points. Marcus parked 2 blocks away. Approached on foot. His training surfaced. Room clearing protocols. Threat assessment. Controlled breathing. He was a mathematician. A father. A custodian. But first he'd been a warrior. Time to remember how. The warehouse interior smelled of rust and abandonment. Marcus entered through a broken loading door. Silent, low, sound carried, 2 voices. 2nd floor, north corner. He climbed stairs, each step deliberate, weight distribution preventing creaks. The voices became clear. Boss said wait here, he's dealing with the girl's father. How long we babysit? Long as it takes. Then we dump her. Make it look like she wandered off, drowned in the canal. Marcus stopped breathing, forced calm. Emotion was death in combat. He looked around the corner. 2 men, both armed, handguns and shoulder holsters, sitting on crates. Maya between them on the floor, unconscious. Breathing. Thank God. Breathing. Direct assault was suicide. 2 armed men. He had a knife, but he also had training and rage. Marcus picked up a loose brick, threw it across the warehouse. It crashed 2 rooms away. Both men jumped. Drew weapons. Check it out. One moved toward the sound, gun raised, alert. The second stayed with Maya, smart. disciplined. Marcus waited until the first man was isolated. Separate room. No sight lines. He moved. 3 steps. Silent. Fast. The car bar went into the man's kidney. Precise. Lethal. Marcus's hand covered his mouth. Muffling sound. The man dropped. Dead before he hit ground. Marcus took his gun. Glock 19. 15 rounds. He chambered around. The sound echoed. The second man heard it. "Dave?" No response. "Dave, you good?" Footsteps. Coming to investigate. Marcus positioned himself. Behind a support pillar, sight line to where Maya lay. The second man appeared. Gun drawn. Scanning. He saw his partner. Dead. Blood pooling. "Oh shit." Marcus stepped out. Dropped the weapon. The man spun. Fired wild. Panic shooting. Marcus didn't. 1 shot. Center mass. The man fell. Silence. Ringing ears. Cordite smell. Marcus ran to Maya. Checked her pulse. Strong. Steady. The drug was wearing off. He lifted her. She was light. Too light. Not eating enough lately. He'd fix that. After. His phone rang. Bradford. Marcus answered. "Your men are dead. My daughter is safe. Now I'm coming for you." Bradford's voice was steel. "You just murdered 2 people. You're done. Police will find you. Find her. You'll spend life in prison." "Self-defense. Kidnapping. They were going to kill her. I have evidence. Recordings. Your texts. Everything." Silence. Calculation. "What do you want? Public confession? The embezzlement? Richard's murder? Everything. Or I go to police, FBI, SEC, every news outlet in America. I'll destroy you. You can try, but I'm already destroyed. Lost my wife. Lost my career. I've got nothing left but Maya. And you threaten her? You lose." Marcus carried Maya toward the exit. Phone on speaker. "I'm going back to that competition. I'm going to win. Then I'm going to expose you in front of everyone. Live stream. 40,000 witnesses. You have 40 minutes left. You can't solve that problem. Watch me." Marcus ended the call. He had 12 minutes to get back to campus. 28 minutes remaining on the clock. Enough time to finish 2 equations. The mathematical one and the human one. Marcus burst into the auditorium at 73 minutes. 17 minutes remaining. 800 people turned, shocked. He'd been gone 32 minutes. Victoria stood from the judge's table. "Mr. Chen, you're cutting it extremely close." Marcus didn't answer. He carried Maya to the front row, laid her gently on a bench. Her eyes fluttered. Opening. "Baba?" "I'm here, princess. You're safe." Emma appeared, confused, disoriented, security guard helping her walk. "I don't know what happened. 1 minute we were in the hall, then nothing." Marcus looked at Emma, then at Maya, then at Victoria. "Someone kidnapped my daughter, drugged her, threatened to kill her if I didn't withdraw." The auditorium erupted. Voices, shock, cameras focusing. Victoria went pale. "What? Who?" Marcus turned, scanned the crowd, found Bradford, 3rd row, already standing, moving toward the exit. "Stop him!" Security moved, blocked the doors. Bradford froze. Marcus pointed. "Bradford Hartwell. He ordered the kidnapping. He's embezzling from Sterling Education. $73 million. And he murdered Richard Sinclair." Chaos. Bradford's face went through emotions. Shock, anger, then smooth calculation. "This is insane. Victoria, this man is having a breakdown. His daughter is fine. No one kidnapped anyone. He's fabricating stories because he can't solve the problem." Victoria looked between them. Marcus, blood on his shirt, daughter barely conscious, face showing raw truth. Bradford, godfather, trusted advisor, convincing denial. "Marcus, do you have proof?" "Yes." He pulled out his phone, opened the encrypted files, projected them on screen. Financial statements, shell companies, money transfers. 73 million funneled through Sterling Innovation Fund LLC, owned by Bradford Hartwell. 8 years of theft. Bradford's mask slipped, just for a second. That's fabricated. This man hacked our systems. He's the criminal. Marcus played the recording. Bradford's voice, clear, unmistakable. Richard was a problem. Like you, problems get solved. The auditorium went silent. Victoria's face showed devastation. Brad? Bradford looked at her. 20 years of fake uncle, fake friend. Your father was weak, sentimental. He would have destroyed everything we built with his conscience. I saved this company. You murdered him. I removed an obstacle. Security advanced. Bradford's hand went to his jacket. Victoria saw it first. Gun! People screamed, scattered. Bradford pulled a small caliber pistol, pointed it at Victoria. Marcus was already moving. Between Bradford and Victoria, the gun swung toward him. Don't! The shot echoed. Marcus felt impact, left shoulder, burning, wet. He kept moving, close distance, hand on Bradford's wrist, twisting. The gun fell. Bradford tried to fight, corporate executive against Navy medic. It lasted 3 seconds. Marcus had him on the ground, knee on spine, blood dripping from his shoulder onto Bradford's expensive suit. Police sirens, getting closer. Someone had called. Victoria knelt next to Marcus. You're shot. I'm fine. You're bleeding. I've had worse. Maya appeared, fully awake now, terrified. Baba, you're hurt. I'm okay, princess. Just a scratch. He looked at the timer. 11 minutes remaining. At the whiteboard, still mostly empty. At Victoria, tears streaming. I need to finish the problem. Marcus, you need a hospital. I need to finish. He stood, walked to his whiteboard, left arm useless. Right hand steady. 800 people watched. 45,000 online. History being made. Marcus picked up the marker. 11 minutes. He began to write. The solution emerged, not modern, not Bradford's way or Victoria's way. Classical variational methods. Energy minimization. The old paths. The elegant paths. Marcus worked one-handed, blood dripping onto the floor, each letter precise. 10 minutes. 9. 8. The other contestants had finished 20 minutes ago. Standard approaches, functional analysis. Dense theory. Marcus's solution looked different, clearer, simpler. He wrote the physical interpretation, heat flow, energy states, reality underneath symbols. 5 minutes, the proof of existence. Classical compactness arguments. No heavy machinery needed. 3 minutes, uniqueness, convexity analysis. One solution, one truth, 1 minute. Regularity, bootstrap methods. Smoothness emerging naturally. The timer hit 0. Marcus set down the marker. Complete solution. 32 minutes of kidnapping. 11 minutes of mathematics. Total, 43 minutes. Faster than anyone, more elegant than everyone. He turned to the judges. Done. Then collapsed. Marcus woke in a hospital bed. White walls, beeping monitors, IV in his arm. Maya sat next to him, holding his right hand, eyes red from crying. Baba? Hey, princess. You scared me. I'm sorry, baby. Victoria stood by the window. She'd been there for hours, watching, waiting. The doctors say you'll be fine. The bullet went through, missed bone, missed arteries. You're very lucky. I'm very trained, knew where to position to minimize damage. She almost smiled. Of course you did. Silence. Comfortable. New. Bradford? In custody. They're holding him on kidnapping and attempted murder charges. The financial crimes investigation started immediately. FBI seized all Sterling education records. The competition? Victoria sat on the edge of the bed. Your solution. De Morrison said it was the most elegant proof she'd seen in 20 years. You won. Unanimous decision. Marcus felt relief wash over him. The prize money. $50,000 being transferred to your account, plus MIT formally offered reinstatement, full PhD funding, stipend, campus housing, childcare support. She paused. And I've started the paperwork for something else, a scholarship program for people like you. Overlooked talent, working in custodial, food service, security. Anyone with ability, but not opportunity. What are you going to call it? I was hoping you'd help me name it. Marcus looked at Maya. What do you think, Princess? Maya's voice was small but certain. The Chen Riley Scholarship, because of you and Mama. Both of you were smart and good. Victoria's eyes filled. Perfect. The Chen Riley Scholarship, it is. A knock at the door. Detective Sarah Chen entered. No relation to Marcus. She was leading the investigation. Mr. Chen, Miss Sinclair, I need statements from both of you. The DA is building a case against Bradford Hartwell. She sat down, opened her notebook. Murder, embezzlement, kidnapping, attempted murder. This is going to be a long process. Months, maybe years. Are you both prepared for that? Marcus and Victoria exchanged looks. We're prepared, Marcus said. Good, because Bradford Hartwell has resources. Lawyers, money, political connections. He's going to fight this with everything he has. Let him fight, Victoria said quietly. My father deserves justice. Maya deserves justice. Everyone he hurt deserves justice. Detective Chen nodded, respect in her eyes. Then let's start from the beginning. 2 weeks later, Marcus sat in Dr. Morrison's MIT office, his shoulder still healing, arm in a sling, but mobile, functional. Welcome back, Marcus. Morrison's smile was genuine, warm. Thank you for having me. Having you? You earned this. That solution at the Euler challenge. That wasn't just competition mathematics. That was original research. Publishable. Revolutionary. She slid a folder across the desk. I want you to expand on it. Make it your dissertation. Classical variational approaches to modern nonlinear problems. It could change how we think about entire classes of equations. Marcus opened the folder, scanned the research proposal, felt excitement building. I can do this. I know you can. You always could. She leaned back in her chair. The trial, Bradford Hartwell, when does it start? DA says 3 months minimum. They're still gathering evidence. Forensic accountants are tracing money through shell companies. Medical examiners are running new tests on Richard Sinclair's remains. And you're prepared to testify? Yes, whatever it takes. Morrison nodded slowly. Marcus, I need to ask you something. Off the record. Okay? Are you doing this for justice or revenge? Marcus considered. Honest answer required thought. Both. Richard Sinclair deserved better than being murdered by someone he trusted. Maya deserved better than being kidnapped and terrorized. Victoria deserved better than being lied to for years. He paused. But yes, part of me wants to see Bradford suffer. He threatened my daughter. In my world, that's unforgivable. I understand. Just make sure the revenge doesn't consume the justice. It won't, I promise. That evening, Marcus picked up Maya from her new after-school program near MIT. She ran to him, hugged him carefully around his injured shoulder. How was your day, Princess? Good. We learned about fractions. I already knew them because you taught me, but I helped other kids. That's wonderful. They drove to Victoria's house in Cambridge. She'd invited them for dinner. 3rd time this week. A pattern forming. Victoria met them at the door, wearing jeans and a sweater, no business suit, no armor, just herself. Hey, come in. Dinner's almost ready. What are we having? Maya asked. Pasta, your favorite. With meatballs? Of course with meatballs. Maya ran inside, headed straight for the living room where Victoria kept puzzles and books just for her. Marcus and Victoria stood in the entryway, close, aware of each other. How's the shoulder? Better. Physical therapy starts next week. And the research? Morrison loves it. Wants me to publish within 6 months. Victoria smiled, pride evident. I always knew you were brilliant. I'm glad the world is finally seeing it too. He touched her face, gentle. Thank you for believing in me, for fighting alongside me, for everything. She leaned into his hand. We're in this together now, the trial, the scholarship, whatever comes next. Together, he agreed. Maya's voice called from the living room. Mama V, can you help me with this puzzle? Victoria froze. First time Maya had used that name. Did she just... Yeah, Marcus said softly. Is that okay? Tears spilled down Victoria's cheeks. More than okay. She went to Maya, sat beside her on the floor, helped with the puzzle, became part of their family in that simple moment. Marcus watched them, his daughter, his maybe future, his present. Jennifer's photo still lived in his wallet, always would, but his heart had room for new love, new family, new hope. The equation was balancing. 1 month after the competition, the Sterling Education Board met in emergency session, full attendance, media waiting outside. The scandal had rocked the entire higher education world. Victoria stood at the head of the table, no longer the uncertain young CEO. Something had hardened in her, forged by betrayal and fire. Gentlemen, ladies, we have decisions to make. Chairman Cooper nodded for her to continue. Bradford Hartwell stole $73 million from this institution. He murdered my father. He attempted to murder a good man and his child. The damage to our reputation is incalculable. Board members shifted uncomfortably. We have two choices. We can minimize, settle quietly, make this go away through lawyers and money. Protect the Sterling name at all costs. She paused. Let them think that was her recommendation. Or we can do what my father would have wanted. Full transparency, cooperation with law enforcement, public apology, and fundamental reform of how we operate. One board member spoke up. Gerald Harrison, old money, conservative. Dr. Sinclair, transparency sounds noble, but it will destroy our enrollment, our endowment, our standing. Good, Victoria said flatly. We deserve to have those things destroyed. We built a culture where Bradford could thrive, where cruelty was rewarded, where human worth was measured in dollars. That culture needs to die. Cooper watched her with interest. What exactly are you proposing? The Chen Riley Scholarship, full implementation, starting next semester, 50 students, complete funding, support services, childcare, mental health resources, everything they need to succeed. That's $30 million minimum, Harrison protested. We stole $73 million. We owe a debt. To whom? To everyone we've excluded, everyone we've dismissed, everyone we've told doesn't belong in elite education. Victoria pulled up a presentation. Marcus Chen cleaned our bathrooms while holding a mind capable of revolutionary mathematics. How many others like him exist? How much genius are we wasting because we only look for it in people who already have advantages? She showed photos. The janitor at Harvard who's teaching himself quantum physics. The cafeteria worker at Stanford writing poetry. The security guard at Berkeley coding apps. They're everywhere. We just have to look. Cooper leaned forward. This is radical, Victoria. Your father talked about programs like this, but he never implemented them. Because Bradford stopped him. Bradford, who's now in jail awaiting trial for murder. Silence. I'm not asking permission. I'm telling you what's going to happen. Sterling education will transform. We will lead the way in discovering and nurturing overlooked talent. Or I will resign and start my own institution that will. The board members exchanged glances, calculations being made. Finally, Cooper spoke. I'm voting in favor, and I'm personally donating $5 million to the scholarship fund. One by one, the others joined, not all of them. 3 board members resigned on the spot, but the majority stood with Victoria. The Chen Riley Scholarship was real. That night, Victoria called Marcus. It passed. The board approved everything. Marcus sat in his small apartment, Maya asleep in the next room. That's incredible. 50 students next semester. We'll scale from there. He heard emotion in her voice. Joy, relief, something else. Victoria, are you okay? I'm better than okay. For the first time since my father died, I feel like I'm doing something that matters. Something he'd be proud of. He would be, I'm sure of it. Silence on the line. Comfortable. Marcus, can I ask you something? Always. When the trial starts. When we have to testify and relive everything. When it gets hard and painful and exhausting. Will you be there? With me? Every single day, I promise. Good, because I can't do this alone. You're not alone. You have me. You have Maya. You have everyone who believes in what we're building. What are we building? Marcus thought about it. A different world, a better world. One equation at a time. 3 months after the Euler challenge, Marcus defended his dissertation proposal in front of the MIT mathematics faculty. 20 professors, Dr. Morrison at the head of the table. His presentation was flawless, clear, elegant, revolutionary. The questions came hard and fast. He answered each one, demonstrated mastery of his field, showed original thinking. After 2 hours, Morrison called for a vote. Unanimous approval. Welcome back to the doctoral program, Marcus. Officially. Applause from the faculty. Handshakes. Congratulations. After, Marcus walked across campus. Spring afternoon. Cherry blossoms blooming. Students everywhere. Young. Hopeful. Building futures. He'd be one of them again. Doctoral candidate. Researcher. Teacher. But he'd never forget where he'd come from. The custodial job. The years of invisibility. The struggle. That perspective would make him a better teacher. A better scholar. A better human. His phone buzzed. Text from Victoria. Dinner tonight? My place. Have something to discuss. We'll be there. 7? Perfect. Marcus smiled, slipped the phone back in his pocket, continued walking. The trial would begin in April. 3 months away. Difficult months. Painful months. But they'd face it together. Bradford Hartwell would answer for his crimes. Richard Sinclair would get justice. The Chen Riley scholars would get their chance. And Marcus, Victoria, Maya, they'd build something beautiful from tragedy. A family, a future, a legacy. The mathematics of it all was simple. Courage plus love equals hope. Hope plus action equals change. Change plus time equals transformation. And transformation was everything. 6 months felt like 6 years, like 6 lifetimes compressed into court dates and depositions and healing. Marcus's shoulder recovered. Physical therapy 3 times a week. The scar tissue formed thick and rope-like, a permanent reminder written in his own flesh. Maya traced it sometimes with small fingers, asked if it hurt. He always said no. Mostly true. The trial began in April. Commonwealth of Massachusetts versus Bradford James Hartwell. The charges read like a crime novel. First-degree murder, embezzlement, kidnapping, attempted murder, conspiracy, witness tampering. The courthouse in downtown Boston filled every day. Media circus, national attention, the custodian who became a hero, the billionaire who became a monster. America loved the narrative. Clear villains, clear heroes, simple equations. Reality was messier. Marcus sat in the witness box on day 3, his hand on the Bible, his oath to tell truth. The prosecutor was a woman named Sarah Chen. No relation. She'd sought him out specifically. Wanted justice for Richard Sinclair, for Maya, for everyone Bradford had hurt. Mr. Chen, can you describe the events of January 14th? Marcus spoke clearly, detailed, the kidnapping, the warehouse, the gun, every moment cataloged with mathematical precision. Bradford's lawyer tried to break him on cross-examination, suggested Marcus had murdered 2 men in cold blood, suggested the kidnapping was fabricated, suggested everything was an elaborate scheme for prize money and attention. Marcus didn't break. He'd survived Kandahar, survived losing Jennifer, survived watching his daughter drugged and taken. A lawyer's questions were nothing. The forensic evidence told the story the defense couldn't refute. The 2 dead men had records, hired muscle, phone records showing calls to Bradford's private cell, financial transfers, $50,000 each, paid 3 days before the kidnapping. The white van had Bradford's fingerprints inside. Security footage showed him meeting with the men twice, once at a parking garage, once at a coffee shop. Planning sessions caught on camera. The medical examiner testified about Richard Sinclair's autopsy, originally ruled natural causes, stroke. But the FBI had exhumed the body. New tests, toxicology screens not run the first time, polonium-210, radioactive poison, undetectable without specific testing. Symptoms mimicked stroke perfectly. Traced to a specialty lab in New Jersey. Purchase order signed by a shell company owned by Bradford Hartwell. Premeditated murder. Sophisticated. Cold. Victoria testified on day 7. She wore black. Simple dress, no jewelry except her father's watch. She'd lost weight, gained shadows under her eyes, but her voice never wavered. Bradford Hartwell was my godfather. I trusted him completely. He held me when my mother died, taught me chess, gave me away at my wedding rehearsal dinner before my engagement ended. She looked at Bradford. He stared back. No emotion. Dead eyes. He murdered my father, stole from the institution my family built, tried to kill a good man and his child. There's no mercy for that. No forgiveness. The prosecutor showed emails, recovered from Bradford's personal server, deleted but retrievable, digital immortality. One email to an unknown recipient dated 2 weeks before Richard's death. The old man is becoming a problem. He wants full forensic audit. If that happens, we're exposed. Need to handle this permanently. Make it look natural. Another email dated 1 day after Richard died. Problem solved. Stroke. No questions. Moving forward with restructuring. Victoria is manageable. Young, naive. We own her. The jury's faces showed everything. Disgust, anger, certainty. Bradford's defense collapsed on day 9. His lawyers tried to negotiate, offered testimony against accomplices, offered cooperation. The prosecutor refused. This wasn't about deals. This was about accountability. The verdict came on day 12, guilty on all counts. The jury deliberated 90 minutes. Quick, decisive, just. The judge sentenced Bradford to life without parole, plus 60 years for the additional charges. A symbolic number. He'd die in prison. Everyone knew it. Bradford's last words before the bailiffs took him away. I built that empire. Richard was weak, sentimental. I made sterling education what it is. Victoria stood. You destroyed it. My father built something beautiful. You turned it into a crime scene. But we'll rebuild. Without you. Better than before. Bradford smiled. Bitter. Hateful. You'll fail. You're just like Richard. Too soft, too human. Good. I'd rather fail with humanity than succeed as a monster. They led him away. Orange jumpsuit, shackles. The man who'd had everything reduced to a number in the system. Marcus watched from the gallery. Maya beside him. She didn't understand all of it. 7-year-old comprehension had limits. But she understood good won, bad lost. Justice happened. Simple math for simple truths. The day after the verdict, Sterling Education held an emergency shareholders meeting. 800 investors, board members, faculty representatives, media allowed in the back rows. Transparency, accountability, the new way. Victoria stood at the podium. She prepared for weeks, speech written and rewritten, rehearsed until the words felt natural. But when the moment came, she set aside her notes. 6 months ago, I thought I understood success, credentials, prestige, market value. I ran 2 institutions based on those principles, hired based on pedigree, promoted based on resumes, measured worth in publications and degrees. She looked at Marcus, front row. He tried to sit further back. She'd insisted. Then I met a man who cleaned bathrooms, who mopped floors, who a society told me was beneath consideration. And he taught me everything I thought I knew was wrong. Murmurs through the crowd, investors uncomfortable with sentiment. Business was numbers, emotions were weakness. Marcus Chen has a PhD-level mind, published researcher, genius mathematician. He was working custodial because he chose his dying wife over his career, chose his daughter over prestige. Those choices made him poor in money, but rich in everything that matters. She pulled up a slide. Financial projections. Sterling Education lost $73 million to theft. Our reputation is damaged. Applications are down 15%. Revenue projections show 20% decline over 2 years. The board members shifted. This wasn't the inspirational speech they'd expected. We deserve it. We built a culture where a man like Bradford Hartwell could thrive, where cruelty was called strength, where human value was measured in dollar signs. That culture killed my father, almost killed a child, and it ends today. She clicked to the next slide. New initiatives, the Chen Riley Scholarship, full funding for overlooked talent, no credential requirements, just aptitude and drive. We'll find genius in custodial staff, in cafeteria workers, in security guards, everywhere we've been trained not to look. An investor stood, old money, conservative suit. Dr. Sinclair, this is admirable but impractical. Our responsibility is to shareholders, profit, growth, not social work. Victoria met his eyes. My father built this company on a principle. Education transforms lives. If we're only educating people who already have advantages, we're not transforming anything. We're just reinforcing privilege. Another investor. The market won't reward this. Our stock will suffer. Then let it suffer. Some things matter more than stock price. The room erupted, half applauding, half outraged. Division, chaos. The board chairman, James Cooper, stood, 80 years old, already young, Harvard educated, old school businessman. He'd been Richard's friend, his mentor. Order, please. The room quieted. I've been in business 60 years, built 3 companies, destroyed 2. I know what works, what doesn't. He looked at Victoria. What you're proposing is risky, unproven, could cost us millions. Victoria's heart sank. She thought Cooper was an ally. But it's also right. Richard tried to tell me this before he died. I didn't listen. Too focused on quarterly returns. Too blind to see that people matter more than percentages. He turned to the investors. I'm voting in favor of Dr. Sinclair's initiatives. I'm also increasing my personal investment, $10 million to the scholarship fund. If this company fails because we chose humanity over greed, I'll be proud of that failure. Silence. Then one investor stood, then another, then 20. I'm in. 5 million. 2 million here. 1 million. 3 million. The pledges kept coming. Not everyone, not unanimous, but enough. $32 million pledged in 10 minutes. The scholarship fund went from concept to reality. Victoria's eyes burned. She didn't cry, not in front of investors, but close. Marcus caught her eye, nodded, proud. Maya whispered something to him. He smiled, lifted her up so she could see better. The vote passed. 70% in favor. Sterling education would transform. Slowly, imperfectly, but truly. After the meeting, investors approached Marcus, shook his hand, thanked him, treated him like the hero he was. Some asked about his research, his plans, his future. He kept answers simple, humble. The attention made him uncomfortable. One investor, a woman in her 60s, pulled him aside. My son works maintenance at a hospital. He's brilliant, taught himself programming, builds apps in his spare time. Never had a chance at university. Could your scholarship help him? Marcus smiled. That's exactly who it's for. Have him apply. She hugged him, unexpected, fierce. Thank you for showing people like him matter. They always mattered. People just weren't looking. That evening, Marcus and Victoria sat on a bench overlooking the Charles River. Maya played on the grass nearby, chasing fireflies in the warm June air. They'd been doing this more often. Quiet moments, no pressure, no expectations, just proximity, comfort, something growing without force. My father used to bring me here, Victoria said. When I was Maya's age, we'd watch the boats. He'd quiz me on mathematics. Make it fun. Make it magic. He sounds like a good dad. The best. I didn't appreciate it then. Thought he was embarrassing. Wanted him to be more serious, more professional. She watched Maya. The girl's laughter carried on the breeze. Now I'd give anything for one more embarrassing moment. Marcus understood. He'd had 3 years with Jennifer after her diagnosis. Every moment painful, every moment precious. The last gift she'd given him. He'd be proud of you, what you did today, standing up to the board, fighting for what's right. I was terrified, thought they'd fire me, remove me. I'm still learning, still making mistakes. But you're learning. That's more than most people do. Victoria turned to him, really looked, studied his face like a problem to solve. Can I ask you something personal? Sure. Do you think you'll ever stop missing her? Your wife? Marcus considered. Honest answers required thought. No, I'll always miss Jennifer. She's part of me, woven into everything I am. Victoria nodded, accepting. But missing someone doesn't mean you can't love again. The heart isn't a zero-sum equation. It expands, makes room. Is that what's happening? Between us? I think so, if you want it to be. She reached for his hand, tentative. He took it, gentle. I'm broken in a lot of ways, she said. My father's death, Bradford's betrayal, years of being cold because I thought that was strength. I'm broken too. PTSD from Afghanistan, survivor's guilt from Jennifer, fear that I'm failing Maya every single day. Maybe broken people fit together better. No pretense, no hiding. Maybe. Maya ran over, out of breath, happy. Baba, Miss Victoria, I caught 3 fireflies. Want to see? She opened her hands. The insects glowed, brief, beautiful, then flew away. Did you make a wish? Victoria asked. Yes. What did you wish for? Maya looked between them, knowing. Children always knew. I wished we could be a family. The 3 of us. Is that okay? Marcus's throat tightened. Victoria blinked back tears. Yeah, princess. That's okay. September arrived with golden light and cool mornings. Maya started 2nd grade at a new school, near MIT campus, better programs, smaller classes. Marcus defended his dissertation proposal in front of the mathematics department. 20 faculty members. Critical eyes. Impossible standards. His topic: classical variational methods applied to modern nonlinear problems. The work he'd started at the Euler Challenge. Expanded, refined, revolutionary. Dr. Morrison chaired the committee. She asked the hardest questions, pushed him to defend every assumption, every claim. Marcus answered with clarity, with passion, with the love of mathematics that had never died despite years away. The vote was unanimous, approved, fast-tracked. They wanted his research published. He'd beat Dr. Marcus Chen within a year. The title he'd walked away from. Coming back on his own terms. Victoria tended the defense, sat in the back, took notes. She was auditing graduate mathematics courses, trying to understand his work, trying to see the world through his eyes. After, they celebrated, small restaurant, Italian, Maya's choice. She loved pasta, loved the breadsticks, loved feeling grown up at fancy dinners. To Dr. Chen, Victoria raised her water glass. Almost. To second chances, Marcus countered. To family, Maya added. They clinked glasses, laughed, belonged. At the table next to them, an elderly couple watched, smiled. The man leaned to his wife. Remember when we were like that? Young, in love. Whole lives ahead. We still have our whole lives ahead, dear. You're right, we do. The first cohort of Chen Riley scholars arrived in October. 5 students, each with a story. James Washington, 42, hospital custodian, studying physics, wanted to understand the universe, taught himself quantum mechanics from library books, now had MIT professors as teachers. Maria Santos, 36, cafeteria worker, studying literature, wrote poetry on napkins during breaks. Raw, powerful, published in the University Journal within a month. Deshaun Miller, 28, security guard, studying computer science. Built apps that helped his community. Now learning from the best minds in tech. Sarah Kim, 51, janitor studying medicine, had been a doctor in South Korea. Credentials didn't transfer. Started over, finally getting the recognition she deserved. Robert Chen, 63, parking attendant, studying law, wanted to help his immigrant community navigate legal systems. Never too late to learn. Marcus mentored them informally. Coffee meetings, study sessions, reminder that they belonged, that their path was valid. They called him Professor Chen even though he wasn't yet. He told them to call him Marcus. They refused. Respect earned required proper acknowledgement. Victoria funded additional support. Tutoring, childcare for those with families, mental health services, housing assistance, everything needed to succeed. The program became a model. Other universities called asking for blueprints, how to replicate, how to scale. Sterling Education shared everything. This wasn't about competitive advantage. This was about fixing a broken system. The media covered it extensively. Feel-good stories, American dream narratives, but also serious journalism, investigations into how much talent society wasted, how many geniuses mopped floors because they couldn't afford tuition. The data was damning. Millions of brilliant minds, locked out by circumstance, by poverty, by systems designed to perpetuate privilege. The Chen Riley Scholarship couldn't fix everything, but it was a start. December brought snow and decisions. Marcus's lease ended on his apartment. He could renew, could find a bigger place, could stay in his comfortable patterns, or he could take a risk. Victoria's house in Cambridge had 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a yard, room for a family. She'd suggested it carefully, over dinner, casual tone, masking nervousness. Maya needs space to grow. You're cramped in that apartment. I have empty rooms. It makes practical sense. Marcus had smiled. Practical sense. Is that what we're calling it? We've been together 6 months. We're good together. Maya loves it here. You're here most nights, anyway. So you're asking me to move in, officially. I'm asking you to build something with me, officially. He'd said yes. Of course he'd said yes. Moving day was chaos. Maya's toys everywhere, books in boxes, furniture that didn't match. But it worked. Somehow it worked. Jennifer's photo found a place on the mantle. Victoria put it there herself. She's part of this family too. Always will be. Marcus had kissed her then, deep, grateful, complete. That night, after Maya was asleep, they sat in the living room, fire crackling, snow falling outside. I never thought I'd have this again, Marcus said. Family, home, future. Me neither. I thought I'd die alone in an office, buried in work, too broken to love. We're still broken. But broken together is better than whole alone. Christmas morning arrived with Maya's squeal of delight. Presents under the tree, stockings hung, traditions forming. Marcus had worried about replacing Jennifer, about Maya feeling disloyal, but children understood things adults complicated. Love wasn't finite. Hearts expanded, families grew. Maya called Victoria Mama V now, not Mom, not yet, maybe never. But something special, something theirs. Victoria cried the first time she heard it. Happy tears, healing tears. The 3 of them opened gifts. Silly things, practical things, thoughtful things. Victoria gave Marcus a first edition of Euler's collected works. Rare, expensive, perfect. Marcus gave Victoria her father's watch, the one she'd worn at the trial. He'd had it restored, engraved on the back. To Victoria, keep building what I started. Love, Dad, and Marcus, and Maya. She sobbed, couldn't help it. The grief was still there. Always would be, but softer now. Bearable. Maya gave them both a drawing. Crayon on construction paper. 3 stick figures holding hands. Hearts everywhere. This is us, a family, forever. They framed it, hung it next to Jennifer's photo, past and present, loss and love, memory and hope, all coexisting, all true. Marcus defended his dissertation in May, 1 year after the Euler Challenge, full circle. The mathematics department auditorium filled. Faculty, students, press. Everyone wanted to witness history, his dissertation. Classical variational approaches to nonlinear elliptic boundary value problems. A return to elegant foundations. 200 pages. 5 years of thinking compressed into one document. Original. Revolutionary. Beautiful. The defense lasted 3 hours. Questions from every angle. He answered each one. Clear, confident, complete. The committee deliberated 12 minutes. Unanimous approval. Highest honors. Dr. Marcus Chen Riley. Finally, officially. Maya sat front row, wearing her purple dress, braids perfect, pride radiating. Victoria sat next to her, holding her hand, crying openly. Dr. Morrison approached Marcus after, hugged him. I knew you'd finish, knew you'd be brilliant. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for never giving up on me. The celebration that night was everything. Friends, family, colleagues. The Chen Riley scholars came, brought gifts, shared stories. James Washington was publishing his first physics paper. Maria Santos had a poetry collection coming out. Deshaun Miller started a nonprofit teaching coding to underprivileged kids. Sarah Kim was applying to medical residencies. Robert Chen was helping immigrants navigate asylum claims. 5 people, 5 transformed lives. Proof the scholarship worked. The program was expanding. 20 scholars next year, 50 the year after, as many as funding allowed. Universities across the country were implementing similar programs. The idea spreading, growing, changing education. Marcus gave a speech, short, heartfelt. A year ago, I was cleaning bathrooms, invisible, dismissed. Society told me my value was minimum wage. That genius required pedigree. He looked at Victoria. One person saw past that, gave me a chance, then another, then another. That's all any of us need, one chance. One person willing to look. He looked at the scholars. You're not charity cases. You're not exceptions. You're proof the system was broken. We didn't fail. The system failed us. But we're fixing it, one scholar at a time, one opportunity at a time. Applause, standing ovation. Not for him, for all of them, everyone fighting to expand what genius looked like. 2 years later, Marcus stood in his office at MIT, associate professor of mathematics, published author, recognized expert, life rebuilt. The view from his window showed campus, students crossing the quad, futures being shaped. His phone buzzed. Text from Victoria. Board meeting ran late, home by 7. Can you pick up Maya? Already did. She's helping me with research. She's 9. Never too young to learn variational calculus. Laughing emoji, heart emoji. They'd gotten married 6 months ago. Small ceremony. Cambridge courthouse. Maya as witness. Dr. Morrison officiated. Perfect. Victoria kept her name professionally. They both agreed. Richard had built that name. She'd honor it. But at home, she was Mrs. Chen, Marcus's wife, Maya's mother, the family they'd chosen. Maya burst into his office, growing fast, losing baby features, gaining confidence. Baba, I solved the problem you gave me. She showed him her notebook. The proof was messy, inefficient, but correct. Excellent work, princess. Want a harder one? Always. He wrote a new problem. She dove in, tongue between teeth, concentration fierce. Victoria arrived at 7:15. Briefcase, heels, power suit, but tired, good tired, productive tired. How was your day, Dr. Chen? Good, Dr. Sinclair. Yours? We approved funding for 50 new scholars across all Sterling education campuses. Full rides, support services, everything. That's incredible. We're also implementing the program at non-Sterling schools, licensing it, making it open source. Anyone can use the model. Marcus pulled her close, kissed her properly. Maya made gagging sounds. Gross! Parents kissing! Get used to it, kiddo, Victoria laughed. They went home, to the house that was theirs, had dinner, pasta, Maya's favorite, always, talked about their days, about Maya's school, about research, about ordinary life made extraordinary by love. After Maya went to bed, Marcus and Victoria sat on the porch. Summer evening, warm, peaceful. Do you ever think about that night? Victoria asked. The car crash, you saving me? Sometimes. What would have happened if you hadn't been there? You'd be dead. Bradford would have gotten away with everything. The scholars wouldn't exist. We wouldn't exist. One moment, one choice. Everything changed. That's how life works. Small decisions, massive consequences. She leaned against him, comfortable, safe. I'm glad you were there. Me too. They sat in silence, watching fireflies, listening to crickets, being. Inside the house, Maya's light was still on, reading, always reading, already talking about MIT, about following in Baba's footsteps. She'd have choices, opportunities, freedom to become anything. Because 2 broken people had found each other, had chosen love over fear, had built something beautiful from tragedy. The equation balanced. Pain plus courage equaled healing. Loss plus time equaled wisdom. Grief plus love equaled family. Simple mathematics. Profound truth. 5 years after the Euler Challenge, Marcus stood at a podium. TEDx Talk, Cambridge. 3,000 people in attendance. Millions watching online. His topic: the equation of worth, finding genius in unexpected places. He told the story: the custodial job, the competition, the kidnapping, the trial, the transformation. Not for glory, not for attention, but to inspire, to challenge, to change minds. We live in a world obsessed with credentials, degrees, pedigree, resumes. We've built systems that sort people into worthy and unworthy based on where they went to school, how much money they have, what their job title says. He paused, let it land. But genius doesn't care about your zip code. Brilliance doesn't check your bank account. Talent emerges everywhere. We just have to look. He showed photos. The original 5 Chen Riley scholars, where they were now: Dr. James Washington, PhD in physics, teaching at Berkeley, researching quantum computing; Maria Santos, published poet, National Book Award finalist, professor of literature at Stanford; Deshaun Miller, tech CEO, company valued at 50 million, employing hundreds, giving back to his community; Dr. Sarah Kim, surgeon, saving lives, training the next generation, living her second dream; Robert Chen, immigration lawyer, helped thousands navigate the system, changed lives daily. 5 people, 1 chance, infinite impact. The crowd erupted, standing ovation before he finished. The Chen Riley Scholarship has helped 300 students so far, across 20 universities. Every single one has succeeded, graduated, contributed, proved what we already knew. He looked directly at the camera. If you're watching this and you're working a job people dismiss, if you're brilliant but invisible, if you've been told you don't belong in elite spaces, you're wrong. You do belong. Your mind matters. Your potential is real. Another pause, emotion rising. Find your chance. Take it. Fight for it. The world needs your genius. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Final ovation, longer, louder, people crying, inspired. After the talk, dozens approached. Custodians, security guards, cafeteria workers, all brilliant, all dismissed, all hungry for opportunity. Marcus talked to each one, gave them information, resources, hope. Victoria watched from the wings. Maya beside her, 12 now, growing into herself. "Your Baba's amazing," Victoria whispered. "I know, he's always been amazing. People just finally see it." 10 years after the Euler Challenge, Marcus Chen Riley was 44. Victoria Sinclair was 42. Maya was 17, applying to colleges. The Chen Riley Scholarship had helped 2,000 students, expanded to 100 universities, changed education fundamentally. Other programs copied the model. Google funded a version. Microsoft, Amazon, corporations realizing talent existed everywhere. The movement had a name now: Overlooked Excellence, OE for short, a whole field of study, how to identify and nurture genius outside traditional pipelines. Marcus had published 5 books, lectured worldwide, became a voice for educational reform. But his favorite role was still dad. Maya got into MIT, full scholarship, not Chen Riley, academic merit, her own brilliance. She planned to study mathematics, of course, continue the legacy, but also sociology. She wanted to understand why systems excluded people, how to fix them, mathematics for solutions, sociology for implementation. Victoria ran Sterling Education as CEO. The company had transformed, tripled endowment, quintupled impact, became a model for ethical business. She and Marcus traveled together, spoke together, partners in everything. The house in Cambridge was filled with photos now: weddings, graduations, celebrations, family growing. Jennifer's photo still held its place, always would. She was part of the foundation. The love that made everything possible. On the 10-year anniversary of the Arler Challenge, Whitfield University held a ceremony, renamed the Mathematics Building, the Chen Riley Hall. Plaque outside read, "In honor of Marcus Chen Riley and the overlooked excellence movement, genius lives everywhere. We just have to look." Inside the main auditorium where it all began, where a custodian proved everyone wrong, Marcus stood at the same podium, Victoria beside him, Maya in the front row, Dr. Morrison on stage, the original 5 scholars present. Marcus spoke to a new generation. 10 years ago, I stood in this room invisible, a janitor, nobody. People looked through me, dismissed me, decided I had nothing to offer. He smiled. They were wrong, not because I'm special, but because everyone is special. Everyone has value. Everyone deserves a chance to prove it. He looked at Maya. My daughter will grow up in a world slightly better than the one I knew. Not perfect. Still broken in many ways, but improving, expanding, including. He looked at Victoria. I found love when I thought I was done loving. Found family when I thought I was alone. Found purpose when I thought I was lost. Because someone looked past the uniform, saw the person, gave me a chance. Final words. That's all we're asking. Look past the surface, see people, give chances. The genius you find might change the world, might change your world, might change themselves. Every person matters. Every mind has value. Every life deserves opportunity. That's the equation of worth. Simple, true, revolutionary. The audience rose. Applause that wouldn't end, couldn't end, because they understood, finally, completely. Worth wasn't calculated by credentials or bank accounts or job titles. Worth was inherent, universal, absolute. Everyone had it. Everyone deserved recognition. The equation balanced, and balance was justice, and justice was love, and love was everything. That night, the three of them sat in their backyard, stars overhead, summer warmth lingering. Maya would leave for MIT in 2 months. The house would feel empty, but proud. So proud. Baba, do you think Mama Jennifer would be happy with how everything turned out? Marcus thought about his first wife, her smile, her courage, her sacrifice. Yeah, princess, I think she'd be very happy. She always wanted you to have everything. Good life, good family, good future. You have all three. And Mama V, do you think Mama Jennifer would like her? Victoria tensed slightly. The question still carried weight. Marcus took both their hands. I think Jennifer would love that you're loved. That's all she wanted for both of us, to be happy, to be whole, to move forward. I love both of them, Maya said simply. My mama who gave me life and my mama who gave me family. That's okay, right? More than okay, Victoria whispered. Perfect. They sat together. 3 people, 2 mothers. 1 father, 1 family, built from tragedy, forged in crisis, sustained by choice. The fireflies danced. The stars witnessed. The universe balanced its equations. Marcus Chen Riley had started as a custodian, became a hero, transformed into a teacher, evolved into a husband, remained always a father. Victoria Sinclair had started cold, became curious, transformed into compassionate, evolved into a partner, remained always a fighter. Maya Chen had started with loss, became brave, transformed into brilliant, evolved into hopeful, remained always loved. Together, they proved what mattered most. Not credentials, not wealth, not status, character, courage, compassion, hard work rewarded, honor valued, family cherished, the American dream, real, possible, alive, one equation at a time, one chance at a time, one person seeing another person's worth. That's how the world changed. That's how lives transformed. That's how mathematics became magic, and magic became real, the end.